All right. Time to get started. Welcome. All right. So, real quick, I just want to go ahead and get kind of the word out. So I'm just going to go ahead and share links real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I'm pretty excited. It's the last day of the month, and getting down to the wire for sure on
Pretty excited. It's the last day of the month.
Yeah. Let me see. Copy that URL. Go over to Patreon. All right. So, let me see. New post. Let's do that. And we'll say live stream. And we'll say use YouTube Live. And then we'll paste the URL in there. And then what's the date? 31st of July, 2020. Wrapping up on and revealing the new theme. Okay, so we'll take a look at see what our poll brought up here in just a second. Okay. Live stream. ZBrush. Do I have one for no spare time? I do have one for no spare time. Let's put it in there. Fabio, hello. How you doing? Yes. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we'll make that public. That'll be fine. Okay. I didn't want to schedule. No, don't schedule it. I want to post it. Publish that bad boy right now. Okay, get that out of the way. Okay, so let's go in here and let's check out. Here is the no spare time poll. Okay, so we have a tie of mysterious and imaginary friend. Okay. So we're gonna have to do hyphenated or slash, kind of like a combo. So so we're gonna do imaginary friend, mysterious imaginary friend. So that'll kind of give you a little bit of an emotion to put into the theme, and then if you are if you are interested in joining the Facebook group, right here I'll go ahead and I'll copy the link for the Facebook page, and I'll put that in the comments on my Patreon post, so that way in case anybody wants to be able to go and find that particular group, this is kind of the public way to be able to engage in this theme, in these topics. I do have a bunch of things over on Discord. Let me see. Yeah, I'll be getting into the modeling here in a minute. You do hard surface in Maya. I do a lot of hard surface stuff too, so we'll probably get into that some as we go. But yeah. So yeah, over here on my own Discord channel, I have some public channels, but then I also have some private channels. And in fact, I gotta go ahead and jump into that No Spare Time channel. That way, in case anybody who's part of the Patreon group who wants to join in on the live chat, they can jump in and we'll chat live. So yeah, underneath the No Spare Time folder, I've got like work in progress, challenge submissions. So this would be like a place where you can submit your final piece, things like that. This is where I submit the monthly theme. Yeah, pretty fun. Next month's theme will be coming up here probably tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out on Instagram and on the Discord if you're part of the Discord crowd. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's close that. So getting back to what it is that I am working on. I started playing the other day with Pablo Munoz's clay brushes. Let's see if I can find where they're at. It looks like I haven't loaded them into the folder, so I'll go ahead and I'll load them into the folder. Anyone who wants to know kind of where you find that folder to be able to get to it, you just go into the go to the program files folder, get to the Pixelogic folder. Okay, and then the version of ZBrush you're working in this case we got ZBrush 2020. Then we got ZData and brush presets. Those are the brushes that will load every time you load ZBrush. Okay, so really helpful to know that. Just gonna go ahead and duplicate that folder real quick just to be able to get to ZBrush. Library, must-haves, brushes, digital clay brushes. I'm just going to grab all of these, control copy, control paste. It's going to be a buttload of brushes in that folder, but started like last October. Hold on, I gotta grab my water. Okay, got my water now, we're good. Goal is modeling more stuff for looking for a job. Not much work in 3D where you're at. Where do you live? It seems like you're in Europe somewhere, correct? You take some water before you die coughing. Yeah, like last time. Cool. Yeah. So so that's what you do to be able to get your brushes to kind of load in by default when you're opening up ZBrush. Now there's a trick too, in that if you want these to show up now in the current Italia, close to the Mediterranean. It must be a beautiful area though. But yeah, I can understand that being hard. There's some of those places over in Europe that are just they're just tricky. They're just hard to deal with. I'm over here in Los Angeles and it's hard. Really, any job. That's hard, dude. I hope it gets better for you, because that really is super tricky. But yeah, if you want these to show up in the current session, you don't have to restart your ZBrush. You can come down here and you can say reset all brushes. That'll take all your brushes back to the startup settings and everything. But the other thing it'll do is it'll bring in all your clay brushes, okay? So cuts, texture. Yeah, if you can hear this screaming in the next room, that's my son. Um, clay brushed, clay flicks detail. Okay, this could be probably pretty good for. Thanks, Meg. How you doing? This could probably be pretty good brush for things like the magma detail. I'm gonna come over here. Let's up our resolution. Let's go to like 512 or something. Oh, turn on my number lock because it likes to turn itself off. We'll just kind of smooth it. In fact, what we can do, instead of just smoothing it, let's come over to our deformation. Just polish that. Having some variation in the surface could be kind of nice, but right now what I'm trying to do is I kind of want to just give this a little bit of roughness, so that it feels a little bit more like magma. In fact, what we can do, let's go back. Let's come back over here. We'll go into, hey Prashan, how you doing? How many different subtools do I have in there? 15 right now. Yeah, several. I could probably go through and like consolidate some of that, but okay, I'm gonna try experimenting with adding in the color and see kind of where that gets us. It looks like it's not quite what I'm wanting, but I mean we could go through and kind of just layer some different textures in here. These clay brushes from Pablo Munoz are going to be pretty cool, pretty useful for some of these sorts of things that I want to add in here. So I'm just going to kind of come in here, just kind of get a little bit of that cracked magma sort of feel. And it might not come in absolutely perfect, but we can get it pretty close. What I'm going to want to do eventually is actually take what I have and create clean topology and UVs, so that way I can pull the texture out and use that texture to create some sort of emissive map inside of Maya or some other rendering package. So we're gonna try to go through and kind of get this going pretty quickly here. So one of the things that I've noticed with magma, with lava, is that like it gets really cool on the surface, but as it moves really quickly, it gets really hot and really bright. So I'm gonna kind of treat this as if it's, you know, kind of, you know, more more you know, cooler, solid, kind of toward the bases and toward the top, toward the bottom. But I'm going to have it try to, you know, get like, you know, hot, thin strands kind of between the top and the bottom. Move my selfie circle over to the left. Yeah, that's a good point. Let's do it. Whee! Yeah, you guys won't see the moving part, but I will. Let's see, move it a little bit further. Alright. How's that? Yeah, I'm gonna have to add in like several layers to get this to really work right. But yeah, I mean, I think it's starting to work. It's starting to work, and I'll probably do something similar with the floor of the mouth, this interior part. Gotta get to that for sure. Let's go ahead and let's add some here. Let's kind of add some back here as well. back here where it's moving less, probably have less of the red. Okay, and then we'll probably let it kind of get a little bit more red as it gets to the tip of these drippies. I wonder. Let's keep the RGB on. Let's turn it to Z sub, and let's get like a yellow. Let's try this. Nah, I don't like that. I don't like that. We'll just leave it like that for now. The red and black. I think that'll be good enough. Now we've got other. I'll turn that off so that it's just back to its default. We've got other brushes in here that are really good. This base smudging texture brush is really cool. I really enjoyed using this one on the other project that I was using that I was working on the other day. You know what? Let's see what it does with color. That's too much color. Let's just keep it the way it is. But this will break up the surface really nicely. Just kind of make this like thin. I want it to feel like there's tension there, so I'm trying to make it feel like it's kind of, you know, stretching between those points. Trying to add more rough details in here in the base and stuff. It's really just kind of combining different details. If we were to change this up to Z, the Z intensity, like really strong, ooh, that's good for these base parts. Let's do that, yeah. That might be too much down there. Okay, let's just kind of add it into some of these like blacker parts. I feel like that's really adding a lot of really cool texture. Once we go through and do the Z-remesh pass, it's going to definitely take away all that texture, which is good. That's what we want. But then we can go ahead, we can add subdivisions and then project the details back. Details back, and then export it as a displacement map, which that'll be really helpful when we go in to be able to create our materials inside of Maya. So I'm going to call that good. I'm liking how that's looking. Oh, you know what? Let's grab that smudge brush, spread, soft chunks, texture. There we go. And let's get some to maybe not that intense. Take it back down. It was like 30 something, 40 something works just fine. Okay, add in a little bit here to these back strands, because we will see these through the model. So we want to be aware of what it is that we will see. Yeah, so we'll want that to kind of pop a little bit. Okay, so that part's looking pretty all right. Thanks, Prashant. Yeah, if anybody wants to jump on, hey Jan, how you doing? Welcome. Yeah, so Meg, the thing that I tend to do with retopology is if I'm doing something like this where it's very organic and the topology doesn't specifically matter because of you know, for instance, I won't be rigging and animating this. It's really just a matter of, you know, personal project. It's not going into a film, it's not going into a game, so something like Z-Remesher works really well. Whereas if I am working on something for my personal projects, like for instance on characters for fun, that's a fun one, Storm. this storm project that I did a couple months ago. It might have been last month. I don't remember. I'm losing track of time. Everything on her is very clean. Everything is very very specific. Everything is animation ready. Something that's ready for me to be able to take into the 3D software of my choice. So I can take this over into Maya or Blender or 3ds Max or whatever. I can do UVs. I can take it into Substance Painter to be able to do texturing, things like that. Hey Fabio, thanks for tuning in, dude. Have a good day. Ciao. Don't know much Italian, but I know that's a bridging point, Spanish and Italian. But yeah, so my character here with Storm, she's I tend to keep it very very specific, very clean, very particular. But when I'm dealing with something that's more conceptual, that I have no idea what it's going to look like, that's when I go through and I do Dynamesh and it's very not clean. And then I use Z-Remesher specifically for something that's like this, where I don't have to worry about it being any particular geometry. They're all just pieces of wood. So something like this is very good to have as just like a just kind of a not as specific topology. Okay, need to load in that slash brush. /2. Come here, you. Okay. Let's finish the planking on the wood here. Oh, turn off the RGB. And let's turn the intensity down a little bit. Yeah, so most of the, did I teach myself the animation ready elements? Pretty much. I did go to school at Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, which was a great experience. But on the one hand, school can only prepare you so much. And so, shoot, all these brushes have RGB turned on. I don't need RGB. And there wasn't really anyone there that had the training to teach me really good topology. That was something that I had to learn on my own. And as I went about, different studios and things, Warner Brothers, DreamWorks, Disney, as I went through those different studios and got to see their meshes, got to see their workflows, that became really, really helpful to me in being able to really figure things out personally. Like my latest job with Disney was really helpful to me in being able to learn their topology style. It's really, really neat. But yeah. The IMM primitives brush you put on Patreon looks super valuable. It is super valuable. In fact, I used that topology, the IMM brush, to be able to make these teeth. I mean, it's really super simple. But it worked really well. It got me exactly what I needed for the teeth. So, yeah, it's really nice because it gives you clean topology. Just so that you guys understand what Prashant is talking about on YouTube. I have this. I really hate the IMM primitives brush from that comes native to ZBrush. So I made my own. Okay, so here's the one that I have. It's got a cube, which is really just a cube. You know, it said, you know, if you're familiar with the primitive basics inside of ZBrush, it comes with like the cube in ZBrush comes with this weird pole, like these poles, like as if it was a sphere that was turned into a cube. Totally messed up. So yeah, I've got a simple cube. Got a cylinder with a hole in it. I've got the weird little pill thing that they have, which is, you know, it's useful from time to time. And then I've got a clean sphere. I've got this sphere with 32 edges. I've got a polysphere, which is essentially like a smooth cube. That's really helpful. I use that all the time. That's what I use to be able to make those teeth. I've got a cone. Just a simple cone with like 8 edges or something like that, 12 edges, something like that. It really simple. A Q-cube simple, so it's just a cube with no divisions. It's just a cube. Then I got a hexagon. That's been really helpful to me if I'm doing like a low poly character or something like that. It's just got 6 edges going around the outside. Or if I'm doing some sort of like background asset. I'll talk to you more about that in a few days. Sometime next month I'll be able to talk about that. And then I've got these rings and a star. The star is kind of just a fun one, but I've needed one pretty regularly, so it's good to have. The rings I have used a tremendous amount. Okay, so there's this ring 3D, which is I think it might have like 16 edges going around the outside. Can't remember for sure. But then the good thing about this is that it's nice clean topology that you can just kind of draw it onto your mesh, and you can use that as whatever you need to. And then there's this ring simple, which has just, you know, 4 edges kind of going around. So it's this cube ring instead of like a round ring. There's a round ring and there's a cube ring, and so they're really good for being able to get different ring shaped things. Like you can make a collar or a ring or jewelry or whatever out of these. Really simple, really easy to use. Any videos, tutorials you recommend? I want to learn how to rig a face in Maya from ZBrush for animation. What software are you wanting to use for your rigging? There is a channel that one of my students actually referred me to. It was really good. That I want to use to be able to learn rigging. Some of the topics, the principles would likely bridge across. The truth about Nima. Uh-oh. Ross is looking serious. Vanilla cake. Okay. Let me see. Trying to remember what the name of the channel is. It's a really good one. Not 3DX, not VZA, not that. I'm subscribed to entirely too many things. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can actually look it up. In case you guys want to see what your who's talking. Okay, in Maya. Okay. Yeah, the channel that I follow is he's a Maya. He's a Maya dude. Let's see, playlists. As soon as I find this, it'll be awesome. Maybe I need to look in Pinterest. I probably can find this in Pinterest anyway. Here, let's check this out. me see, boards. Go down to rigging. Here we go. This is the guy. I definitely have videos in here. Awesome. Ant CG. Okay, so it's YouTube. And you just come over Ant CGI. Here we go. I'll go ahead and put this in the chat so you guys have a clickable link. Okay. But yeah, he's super good. There's this fundamentals folder, and there's biped, there's quadruped. There was what was the series that I was looking at? He's got a bunch of stuff in here that he's gone through and done, but yeah, lots of really neat videos. Being able to create cartoon rig, it has that in here somewhere. Let's go to playlists. Maybe it's just in here. Yeah, but these fundamentals are good. Anyway, oh, here it is. Create a flexible rig. This is the one that is like super good. This is the one I was going through and watching through, and there was one spot I was sort of getting stuck, but I think it might have been I just need to kind of go back and redo it. But yeah, really neat stuff. Really good good content. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's see if we can finish this bad boy. Trying to really get, like, really mirror this feeling throughout the rest of it, and trying to take it into these other pieces up here. Let's get that slash brush back. Sometimes with this brush, you can create some really cool variations by kind of running it alongside itself. So like doing one line and then doing another line that's kind of similar over the top of it. And that'll get you a really interesting sort of a line variation. Line variation is a big deal inside of InDesign. It's one of the things that really helps a design supersell, you know. And so I'm trying to do it as a way of, turn that off. It looks so weird without everything else. this clay brush back. So one of the most useful things is to use the alternative functions for brushes. I love it. I think it's one of the coolest things that it's a simple feature, but it's such a useful feature. Just being able to go through and hold Alt to be able to get a different use out of the same brush. Let's go around the other way. Oh, you know what? Let's try this. Let's go brush inflate. Just kind of want to open that up a little bit more. Maybe not on both sides. Let's do it on one side. That feel a little bit more like wood. Yeah, you're very welcome. Hopefully it helps you for what you're needing, because it's a super nice series, and he's very clear on explaining things. There are some spots where where it feels like he kind of jumps in. It feels like he jumps. Maybe he doesn't jump as much as he seems to. But yeah, super handy. Let's come over here. Let's work on this a little bit. How's everybody doing? Is quarantine going any better for you guys than than it is for me? I hope it is. Okay, let's just kind of add a little bit more definition in here. So one of the look inspirations that I have for this comes from an artist named Wiley Beckert. Let me pull up the other one. Let's see. I absolutely love her stuff. In fact, I have this piece up in my hanging in my hallway. Not the original. I can't afford originals, but amazing art. And one of the things I really like about her stuff is that it's very textured. It has a great sense of shape design and flow. Yeah, check this guy out. Whew, that's super cool. Look at that. Look at the way that cloth is like super edgy and flowy at the same time. Super neat. Same thing with like the way that all these branches are coming out of this these antlers here. Super super cool. So yeah, I love to try to pull ideas from this sort of style. Right here. There we go. You see, it's got like very like lots of grain. In fact, I got a bookmark. I haven't seen this one before, I don't think. I like that. I like the way that the frame was kind of incorporated to the image. I've tried doing things like that before in the past, and it's fun. It's really cool. It's a really great little aesthetic thing. But yeah, I love doing stuff like that. So that's kind of where I picked up that sort of style idea specifically for this piece. Yeah, let's leave that a little bit open. Let's actually use the clay brush and just kind of push it in some. Let's go ahead and kind of play with this piece a little bit. What is my resolution at? I probably need to up my resolution. Yeah, groups. Let's take the blur to like 3 and dynamesh it. So the thing I'm hoping to do with, yeah, that's what I was wanting. Okay, so the blur is to kind of get rid of the noise in the details. Granted, if you have like really crisp details, then you don't want to be doing that so much. But since I wanted to kind of get rid of kind of the noise in the detail, that was really, really helpful. I might touch up a couple of these spots, but really the way that this is looking right now is going to work just fine for what I need. I'll probably go in and do some sort of detail pass to be able to add different types of noise in different areas. Like for instance, let's take the that clay. Not this one. Where's the smudging texture? There we go. We'll just kind of add a little bit of it to some of these open spots. And this will help to kind of emphasize like the broken wood sort of look, specifically down in like here. These areas where it feels like it's kind of the inside of the wood rather than the surface of the wood. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of add in some of this. Trying to go quickly because, like, I mean, this is the point of the exercise, is really to just do something that'll push you artistically, something that, there we go, that's nice. Ooh, that's nice. Something that helps to It helps you to grow. Um, but another huge point of this is to do it quickly because it's the no spare time. It's not as much the doing it quickly that matters. It's that, it's just trying to keep you creative even when you don't have much time. Um, oh, let's get the ears. But yeah, keep you creative when you don't have much time. So that's kind of the idea of it. Um, trying to add some extra oomph to some of these areas that might be visually interesting. Let's kind of put some in around these knots. I'm trying to think about adding them to like crevices, things like that. Different places where there's a lot of surface change. You see like those creases right there. Let's get some down here. And it's really helping to sell that organic look. I'm trying to decide actually. I'm trying to decide on a few things as I go, but one of the things I'm trying to think about is whether or not it'll be worthwhile to do a Z-remesher pass on it and take it into Maya, or if it would be doable and believable enough to just use Keyshot. I've been playing around in Keyshot a lot more lately, and I've gotten some cooler results. So I'm hoping to kind of figure out how I would actually make this work. Let's go ahead and run some of this over these top pieces. Build up some of the details here. Something like that could work. Okay, now let's go back to our smudging texture brush. I'm trying to play around with getting these textures to feel somewhat natural. this a little bit. Let's go ahead and... Oh, that's bulking up that section really nice. Yeah, anybody who wants to go through and get these clay brushes, they're available through... let me see, where did Pablo make them available? Pablo Munoz. It's on ZBrush Guides, but I can't remember if it's... Digital Clay Pack. So just for everybody's interest, for anybody's interest, I guess. This is what I've been using. These different clay brushes, and they have a bunch of different brushes, a bunch of different feels. Okay, you get some different rakes and things like that. So yeah, for those of you who are interested, that's where you can get these brushes. You see a whole bunch of different looks and feels and things like that. Super, super helpful. Okay, it's got these this base as well with the textures and everything. So in case you wanted to be able to render outside of whatever software you made your model in, you can do that. And then he's got these texture sets that you can go through and apply to your model that'll help to supplement whatever sculpting you did to it. So it'll go through and it'll add the roughness and it'll add the color variations. Hey, you can join the newsletter too. It's a really good newsletter, actually. He sends out a lot of really neat tips. Yeah, here's my friend Bichar. He does amazing work. He is so good. And here are a couple of different examples of things that he created using these brushes, or that he supplemented the look with the brushes. What you doing, bud?
It's going to play Pokemon.
Nope.
Okay.
Head on out. Okay. Love you.
And this one from... How about
Close the door, bud.
the fishing game?
Close the door.
The fishing game with you when you were a kid.
Love you. Alright. But yeah, really nice brushes. Here's some different examples of things that have been done using some of these things. You know, either using the textures to be able to render it out, or to be able to supplement the sculpting and be able to add some more of that sculpted in clay sort of look. Okay, so really beautiful work, very neat results. Okay, and very varied results. Okay. Super neat. Even went ahead and used it for some hard surface stuff. So super cool. Yeah, these last ones are done by Pablo himself. Yeah, and that's how they get applied. It's got like a thumb brush. It's kind of funny, but it's useful. I mean, if you're really wanting to kind of imitate the look, it's something that you can get, and he's got a video to be able to share, show it with you. So it is $15, but it's a really good pack. I super recommend it. It's been fun to play around with. So yeah, let's just kind of add in some more detail over here. I just need to make sure that it has enough detail in the areas where the fire is, because the fire will probably be transparent at least a little bit. So it'll be important for me to have enough detail for that to be visible through the flame as much as it may be, you know. Just kind of beef up some of these apexes. Okay. I think that's probably all right. Okay, let's do some stuff on the inside of this mouth here. Trying to think about what to do with it. Auto masking. I'm going to turn on backface masking. Of course, it's right there behind where my thing is, so backface masking. And then we'll probably go ahead and use some of the clay brushes to add some detail, some interest. It's funny, I wasn't a big fan of this clay brush. Just the standard clay brush, the one that comes with ZBrush. I wasn't a big fan of it until until I tried it after seeing Rafael Grassetti use it so much. I'm still not the biggest fan of it. I still prefer to use standard brush, but I'm trying to get used to it. I'm trying to really kind of figure it out. And I do like the kind of the profile of it, how it's got this kind of flat rounded look to it. I think that really kind of helps to it really helps to be able to yeah, I don't know, it just creates a different profile. So it's really kind of a fun brush to play around with. Oh shoot. Uh-oh. I hate when it does that. Okay. Let's go ahead. I do need Dynamesh to be turned on. Let's turn it up to 256. Let's turn the blur up to like 2. Just kind of smooth this out some. And let's get our slash brush. Come here, you. There we go. Something to keep in mind with this brush is that it is directional, and so if you go back the opposite direction with it, it might not give you the look that you want. And so you kind of want to think about proximity to your other strokes. You want to think about yeah, I guess, you know, just kind of what is that overall look that you want to get. You know what, maybe what I'll do, I'm just trying to figure out something for this underlying mass. And I think just having something there is probably good enough. I just kind of go over it with my with that slash brush a few times just to break up the surface. Okay. So something like that. For the most part, I'm trying to keep everything pretty directional. I'm trying to kind of mirror what it is that I have going on like the ears and the nostrils and the eyes, or got kind of like this gnarly sort of cave look. Okay, so that is its own piece. That's good. I'm going to use my standard brush to kind of build this piece out a little bit. I just kind of want to make it feel like it's kind of coming out and acting like gums, but like oozy gums. Since this is supposed to be, let's use our move brush. Maybe just using the move brush and kind of pulling it out some might be a little bit better. Yeah, we're just going to kind of pull this out so that it kind of hugs these teeth a little bit better. Has anybody been to the dentist during the pandemic? My dentist's office has been sending me texts and being like, "It's time for your checkup. It's time for you." It's like, no, I don't want to. It's like I appreciate you guys wanting to stay in business, and hopefully you do because you're a great dentist, but and great dentists are hard to find. Um, yeah, let's kind of pull this back or something. Yeah, mine's supposed to be coming up in August. I don't remember what date. I'd have to go back and look at the message, but and this is something that, this is an appointment I made, 6 months ago before I lost my job, Just like, okay, let's see, let's go ahead. We'll add in some of our lava color here. Let's see if maybe I can go ahead and say mask by smoothness. Is that giving me the result I want? Not quite. Let's take the range, put it down to like 5. I'm trying to decide if I like where that's going or not. Maybe what I can do is I can only put the red down here, and that way it gets like a little bit more like hot toward the interior of the nostril. Maybe that'll be interesting. And then let's see, let's try this. Go ahead and do something like this. Let's see, do I like that? We'll bring some of the yellows back. Let's come back here with the yellow. Say mask by smoothness. Just gonna bring back some of the yellows on those highlight areas. That's better. I'll accept that. Wait, you work for a dental company and you can't use them as a dentist? Is it like a liability issue? Like they're worried that like if they is it like a workers' comp thing? Like if you have a bad filling, or if you get your teeth ruined because of their work, that you'd have to be paid workers' comp or something? Is that kind of what it is? That's bizarre. It's so terrible. Well, see, now that makes a little bit more sense. Oh, here, let's take this down to 5 again. Okay, let's look at this. Okay. Let's color pick from one of the masked areas, and then Control H to hide the mask. That way I can kind of just stroke on some color without having to worry about getting too. In fact, let's do this. Let's go color spray. We're gonna take the color. Shoot, come on. We're gonna take the cut. Why won't it let me just select it? Drag it down to as low as it can go without turning to 0. Okay, 0.05 is where it usually lands. I'm going to turn on alpha to, where is it? This one right here. It seems to jump around for some reason, and I can't figure out exactly why. But yeah, so let's kind of like drag that on, and that'll get us a little bit of a color variation. Yeah, this is a neat little technique to be able to paint really anything. You know, just adding that color spray function to your brush really makes it so that you can get some interesting looks without having to do too much to it. And what's nice, so because it's doing a color spray, it's going through and it's kind of giving you subtle color variation. If you push harder, you'll get more color variation. I don't need to do it quite that bad here. Let's kind of add some darker colors to this lower down area. Pulls that up a little bit. And then we'll go back and we'll add in some extra color variation. So I'm getting some really good darks down here, and I kind of want to do this in a way of being able to essentially create the texture down here, but I want to essentially pull the contrast further up. So let's invert this. Control H. Let's pick the color from the inside of the mouth and see how that looks. So instead of the white, then we'll pull it down a little bit to add a little bit more highlight down toward the darker end. But yeah, I really want to reserve kind of my lighter tones for this top area. Okay, let's kind of pull this over in here too. Okay, I really want to make these edges pop up here toward the top. Okay, so I'm just going to clear my mask. What I want to do is I want to play with this fall off now. The fall off of 100, I want to change it to 50. And we'll just test that to see kind of what it gives us. Yeah, let's take it down even further. Let's take it down to 25, change this to maybe 10. No, not good, not good. Let's see. Let's change the fall off to, let's try the opposite direction, see what it gives us. Okay, I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's try with this. Control H. Just to kind of pull in some of these lighter colors. And this should hopefully help it to feel kind of partway between bone and wood. Um, okay, I'm liking that. Ooh. I don't know if you ever get those times where it's like you get this sudden like silence in an ear, and then it just like it goes silent, and then it has this ring kind of fade in, and then it fades out. You know, just got one of those. Mask by smoothness. Just kind of give it a little bit of a color variation in there. Let's come over here. Let's give this some color. Fill object. Mask by smoothness. I want this to be a little bit darker. Let's bring in some of these. Not quite that color. Let's see. Let's come up here to like to this, because this is still showing up as too white. It's not George Washington's white horse. Okay, let's pull in some of these dark colors, get a little bit more variation in here. Okay. Cool. So now that this is working, let's see what else we can do to this before I go over and start taking it into Keyshot. Yeah, let's make sure we save it. That we save it in the right one. Let's see, social, no spare time, health horse. Okay. So right now I've got this. I want to make sure that this is smoothed nicely. Let's give it a little bit of a blur. It's funny because like I think the side of the flame that I like the best is this side over here. Just because I feel like it feels more dynamic, whereas I feel like a lot of the curve from the flame gets a little bit lost. So let's try something purely in the interest of science. I'm going to Control Shift D. Thanks, Indy. How are you doing? Let's hit mirror. And I'm going to play with placing this so that it feels like it's meant to actually go in that direction. Drag this out a little bit further, and now I'll just use a big move brush. This should work for us. If it doesn't, then shoot. Yeah. It's not bad. It's one of the nice things about ZBrush. I really like being able to just take things and push and pull and just kind of pull this down so that it feels like it's kind of coming out from between there. That's pretty sweet. Oh good, I'm glad you're doing good. I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. I applied to a couple of really cool sounding jobs this week. One with Netflix, one with Disney, one with Amazon, one with Blizzard. Just a couple. Yeah, I'm hoping it goes well. I would really like to come out of this pandemic fully employed, nice benefits, the works. Let's get this covered a little bit. Yeah, how about you? What you been up to? Yeah, no, I'm not with the. Oh, I wish that was true. I've already been passed up for a job with Nickelodeon. I've been passed up for one job with Blizzard. Yeah, just kind of how it is. It's yeah, it feels like you might be I don't know how to explain it. It's really kind of a tricky situation to be in because yeah, I've been at a lot of really cool places. But it's like yeah, sometimes people are just looking for something very specific. I think for some places they've been looking for people with either lead experience, which is not easy to come by, or they've been looking for people who have intro experience, like intro level experience, and that's not something that I have. My experience is much higher than intro level at the moment, so so it's kind of tricky. It's been really tricky from that standpoint. So I'm hoping that I can go ahead and get get something decent, you know. But trying to decide if I like that or not. I don't think I do. I think I actually kind of want to take it more the opposite direction. I mean, it's like I could take it like more of a super desaturated route. That looks kind of cool. But yeah. Intro experience is right at my level, so that gives me hope. Yeah, good. Start applying, Jan. If I find anything, I'll make sure to add it to our job board on Discord. So I'll try to keep that more in mind. So my Discord, it has some private channels to it, and it's to service mostly the people who have joined the Patreon. So if you're actually, didn't you join the Patreon, Jose? I had somebody join this week. I'll have to check it. And there's the chat in case anybody wants to see what's going on. Yeah, I thought you had joined. Yes, I am streaming on YouTube as well. Yeah, so like you can see there on the chat, you can see I've got the Twitch. I've also got the YouTube. It's kind of nice. You can go through and see like how many people from each channel are watching. I don't advertise it very strongly, so it's so you know it's I don't get a whole lot of traffic currently lately. But yeah, you can see that up there. You know, different people or whatnot. So there are two ways to kind of join the Discord. There are, let me see if I can send you. But yeah, there will be channels that will be oh cool, okay. There are channels on here that are specific to patrons. So like for instance, I've got this this No Spare Time live stream voice channel where you know like I can jump in and I can have up to 10 people. I went ahead and set the cap at 10 people so that we don't get too many people. But it's locked and it's preserved specifically for members of the Patreon community. But there are different topics, different things that are not locked and reserved. Yeah, let me see if I can figure out how to send you like an actual. Oh, there we go. Send the link. There we go. I'll invite Anna because she's my friend. So there's a link to the Discord. Yeah, I'm still trying to work through it. Trying to figure out kind of the details of it and whatnot. Same with the Patreon and all of that as well. So it sounds like somebody jumped in though. Welcome. Yeah, Indy's on now. Okay. feel free to let me know what it is that you can and can't see, Indy. Yeah. Let me see. I think so far this is getting pretty good. One of the things that I've considered doing is like, so here are my eyepieces. Just duplicating this. Let's change the color just so we can like really super see it. Let's go ahead and hit C. And then let's go color fill object. Okay, so now what I want to do is I just kind of want to smooth this out. Let's go ahead and take this inflate and push it way down in intensity. I want to try to use this piece as a glow. See if that works. Let's try something similar with this too. Oh, you know what? Let's go back up here to eyes. I'm gonna rename it. Let's say eyes glow. Okay. Then we'll go. We can just take this piece. This is the old cheeks goo. I'm just gonna delete it because it's not usable. Get rid of that. I've got this that I had put in there as kind of like a backing so that I could just see what I was working on. I'll delete that as well. Okay, I can take this, hit delete. Just trying to like clean house a little bit. Mouth interior, I can hit delete. Thunder horse. Do it. Okay, so there's the original flame. Here's the new flame. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, let's title this Wood Pieces. Let's take this, we'll just hit delete. I want to try to make sure that I am aware of what it is that I'm deleting, because not all of these pieces are going to be necessary, but not all of them are going to be happy deletes either. Okay. Let's see, nostrils. I wonder. Let's test this. Let's just stop messing around with it. I'm gonna save it, and let's just dip over into Keyshot. Let's see how this goes. Let's actually change this down to like a lower frame value, and let's step these teeth up in resolution just once. That'll help it just so that it looks a little bit smoother when it's inside a Keyshot. Okay, we'll just kind of it's a little bit too low, so let's take it about right there. That looks pretty good. Okay, I'm trying to consider my framing and everything as well. Okay, so let's say let's do that. Let's pull that, and that way this can be like a camera view inside of Keyshot. So what we're going to do, we're going to say render. We're going to say external render, turn on Keyshot, and let's hit BPR, and let's let that transfer on over. It'll take a minute. It's got nearly 5 million polys it needs to deal with. So hopefully it goes well. Okay. First thing I want to do is I want to get an environment in there that feels like it works for me. I do want to go through and actually change these teeth so that they're not as flat yellow. Yeah, let's get in a cool HDRI image in there. Let's kind of shrink this a little bit. Okay, so the perspective is matching what we had in ZBrush. Okay, which is great. That's one of those cool features that allows us to be able to actually shoot. Oh, to be able to match renders. So if I take an image from ZBrush and put it into Photoshop, it should match up perfectly with what I take out of Keyshot. Getting little chimes. Wonder if it's notifications. It's not. Doesn't look like I'm getting anything on Discord right now. Oh, maybe we're getting something on random. Hey, Indy. I'll say hello. Okay, cool. It looks like I've got a little server bot too that's going through and saying, if you want to invite people to the Discord, you gotta gotta click the invite people button. Beep beep. It says the beep part. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so let's go ahead. Let's add in some stuff here. Okay, so what I want to do, let's go over to materials. Let's start with, let's try going into our light materials. Let's go to our emissive. I'm just going to hold Alt and drag it on. Okay, you notice it disappears, but it'll come back gradually. Or it should. Okay, visible to camera, good. Visible in shadows. Not sure what that would mean. Intensity, let's turn this up to like 50. I might have to turn it up higher. We'll have to see. It's not even showing up. Oh, that's funny. I wonder. You know what? Instead of doing it like that, let's turn it to. Come here, you. Okay, so now we got that back. Let's actually use an actual light material. The one that I usually use, or the ones that I usually use, are these area lights up along the top. So I'm just going to hold Alt, click and drag that onto the model. Doesn't look like it's really doing anything for me. Let's try one of the different ones. Maybe I just need to go through and just up the intensity. It might just be that it's really, really low in lumens. There we go. Now it's starting to feel like fire. That's a little bit better. sounds like there's a crying child. I will be back. You okay, bud? Yeah, poor kid. Yeah, he had bunked his head. He was fighting the couch. He said, "Don't know what that means, but." It's very interesting. So let's see. This will be the nostrils. I think that's a little bit too strong for that. Okay, so there's the eye glow piece, which is right here. It doesn't like to actually apply and keep the color when you do that. So I'm gonna come over here. Let's actually turn on eye, and then let's make it nice and warm. Okay. I want to change to a different. It's not, the material itself is not letting me. It's not letting me go through and actually. Yeah, the glow really does make it pop. It really makes. I was so excited about how that how the magma in the mouth turned out. That's like, oh, super cool. Okay, right here. This is what we want. I'm just gonna add one more 0 for now, but let's really change that color, change that temperature up so that it's nice and warm. I'm not sure that I'm liking how the eyes are looking right now. I probably need to do something different with the geometry for it to. For it to really work. And it's gonna zoom that out a little bit. And then with the ZBrush camera, hey, let's go ahead and let's just add a camera. I'm going to turn off the camera for a few minutes. Bring it back after a few. so one of the things I'm trying to experiment with, get this mic back on and stuff. Trying to figure out a way to get the flame to really be a flame. And I'm curious. Oh, here's something I want to try. Let's try this. Let's go ahead. Let's come over to scene. Let's get the fire main. We'll say Control D. Doesn't work here. Let's say duplicate. And instead of actually being the same material, I'm going to go ahead. First off, I'm going to take the fire main material. And I want to say visible in camera and turn it off wherever it is. There it is, visible in camera. Okay, so now that's turning that off. Okay, now for this other piece, for fire main 1, I'm wanting to take this and actually turn it to a different. Hey Niffer, how you doing? I want to take this and maybe make it some sort of like transparent plastic. Let's see if this works at all. No. Maybe it's because they're the exact same size. And so, I don't know, maybe I'll try just taking this and making it, 1.1 or something like that. Make it just so it's slightly... Oh, that's almost electric. Dude, I'm pretty good. I am not too shabby. Especially now that I've got stuff sort of working for me. Look at that. Okay, that's really interesting. That is really interesting. Okay, I'm going to play around with the environment a little bit. Now let's go ahead and save this into, let's go into quick save, ZBrush, characters for fun. You can go to social, no spare time, call it what it is. Okay, cool. I'll accept that. Let me see. For the wood, let's double click to be able to get this in here. Let's just call this wood material. Or maybe just wood. Then I'm going to come over to texture. Let's play with this a little bit because I want to. I like this material a lot, and I think that it's going to work well for what we want. But did somebody jump into the Discord? I must be getting sounds from other channels that I'm part of. Yeah. So the material works well, but I want to play around with adding in bumps and specularity. So let's do this. Let's start with the bumps. Oh, but I don't want to do that. Or do I? Let's try it. Let's go over here to bumps, and let's add in. Let's check this out just to see if this is what we want. Nope, that's not what I want. That's cool. I might go with this clay bonus map 05. Okay. Let's go with displacement map, say close. So you can see I'm getting the texture in there now. I do have to go ahead and change the scale. So what we're going to do, oops, just going to zoom in here close. Let's actually change our our size a little bit. This image is a little bit small. So let's go ahead, let's go landscape, 800 by 600, let's just boost it up a little bit so that way I have a bigger image to actually work with. A little bit hard to work at such a small scale. So yeah, what we're gonna do, let's come back over to the material and let's say, that's great, that works, angle. Let's change the bump height to something ridiculous like 10. And now we're starting to be able to actually see how it's affecting our model. So we know that it's too big. It's too big. Okay, so let's go up here. Let's say, change this down to 1. Let's see what that does for us. It's still too big. Okay, so let's try 0.2. Okay, that feels like it's applying nicely now. Let's take the bump height, change it down to like 5. Just that it's not so crazy, but that it's still there. Yeah, it might not be too bad leaving it up a little bit higher. So let's say like 7.5 or something. Yeah, I think that'll work for us. That'll work for us. Let's go back to our view. And then one of the things that I like to do with my cameras, let's unlock it first. I'll come over here, I'll add my depth of field. You click the little crosshairs right here, and you can come up here and you can pick a spot to be your focal point. Okay, so I'm just gonna click right there. Okay. Turn that off. So now we got our focal point. You can see it's you can vaguely start to see that it's like fading out over here, which is cool. I'm still not sold on what's happening with the eye, but that might be something that I can go through and just fix in Photoshop. I'm still trying to decide whether or not I like the light kind of coming through in there. But yeah, we'll let it be for right now. Okay. Let's go ahead, hit save on the camera. We'll lock it back. Let's come back over here. Let's go to environment. So let's go over here. Let's just create a new blank environment. Okay. You'll see this is just giving us a nice even lighting all the way around. It's essentially just gray. It's going to be pulling in that gray, and it's not going to be doing much of anything for us. So if we want to be able to add in actual lighting information, we just got to go ahead and drag in a new map. This one looks like it could be oh, not quite what I want, but it is kind of interesting getting that cool lighting from the opening in the sky back here along the back of the horse. Let's see. Yeah, I wish that there was like an actual flame material. Maybe I should check that out. I should go into the cloud library. Oh, that looks kind of nice. There we go. I'll have to check that out with some of the things that I'm wanting to work on. Polystyrene, worn metal, foam material scattering medium, gray fabric, clay. Interesting, whole bunch of stuff. All right, what were we looking for? Let's try fire. Firefly, flaming hot. Don't know what that means, but we'll try it. It's gotten a lot of downloads and a lot of thumbs up. So we'll do that. We'll check it out and see kind of what it is that we think. We might use it for the inside of the mouth if that works. My mic gain. Is it just not working? Is it just too quiet? Yeah, let's go ahead and put the mic somewhere where it's going to be more useful. Don't want to break my mic. Stop. You can hear me, but it's really low. Is it still really low? Because I worry that like if I turn up my settings. Up the level, down the gain. Okay, let's try that. Come here. It's interesting that it would be... Okay, so let's say... Yeah, you said down the gain, so we'll just go ahead and we'll do the gain first. Let me know what you think. And then let's go ahead and we'll add in... What do you think it would be? Would it be the expander? Or the limiter? Let's try this. See what this threshold. Output gain. No, that's something we just went through, and maybe it's something to do with my actual sound properties. Let's try this out. Manage sound devices. Output gain made it easier to... Oh, come on. So adding the output gain, making that higher, it looks like it's a little bit easier to... If I put it all the way up, wow, that's a lot. Okay. I'm trying not to make you deaf. Okay, let's try that. Is that working? Is that working all right, Sean? Okay, let's try that. it's cool to see different. Yeah, at least you can hear me now. Is the sound quality all right though? Too noisy. Yeah, I might just leave it how it was. I mean, it seems like when I do recordings on my computer, it seems to work just fine. So I mean, I'm not sure what would be causing. I'm not sure what would be causing the issues for you, Sean. In fact, you're the first one to complain about it. Is it usually like that? Because you're usually around. You're usually here. Oh, that one's kind of cool. Download that. Hmm. Yeah, that's weird because I mean I haven't done anything differently for today other than trying to play with the sound just now. So I mean it might be something on your end. I'm not really good at troubleshooting sound. I'm not a sound guy. Um, Sorry. Just to pay really close attention to what I'm saying. Sorry. Let's see. I might try playing with this. Do I come with subtitles? That'd be nice. Okay, so right here, I really like how this cool light is coming in the back here. Let's actually let's actually change to a color background, but it'll still be pulling in the lighting information from this color from this image. Um, Windows has auto gain control. Sometime lower your general mic volume. Not sure I understand, Niffer. Um, let's go ahead and take this to like a dark gray. Give it a touch of red, and a touch of green, and a touch of blue. That'll make it so it's not pure black. I don't capture my own HDRIs. I'd love to learn how to do that at some point because that's a neat skill to have. Um, I just use kind of some that I found online. A lot of these are just default to Keyshot. Some of them came with a special package that I bought from Pixelogic. And I'm trying to remember the other. It wasn't HDRI Haven, I don't think. Maybe it was. There was some sort of HDRI site that I went to, though, that was really, really nice. Anyway, right here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a light source. I'm going to have it kind of right, opposite of this bright patch. Maybe raise it up a little bit. And then we'll change the color some. Make it a little bit brighter. trying to play around with the balance between, going desaturated versus saturated. Then I might add another one down here. Make it kind of like this deep red. Let's boost that brightness so that we can see it. That's too much. It's too red too. So let's pull on it some. Change the brightness down to like 5. It looks really complicated. Yeah, I mean, I wonder. I think there's supposed to be some sort of way to be able to stitch images together in Photoshop to be able to create the to be able to create a full panorama. But I mean, I haven't played with that yet. I need to experiment and see what I can pull off. Could not find favorite material. I mean, it might just be working the way that it is. Let's come over here to our scene. Where's the teeth at? Okay, come over here. Wonder what I can play with these. Let's change the roughness down a little bit, just so that it's a little bit more specular. Which will be different compared to a lot of the other bits on this material. Let's play with this too. I'm going to take this roughness, put it up to 1. I don't want it to be picking up on specular highlights and things like that. I want it to be literally just capturing that light. So yeah, we're going to take that roughness all the way up. In fact, specular, we can take that, we can just shove that down to like really, really dark color. Or maybe not. Maybe that actually works to our benefit to have it as a lighter color. Yeah, I guess we'll just keep the highlight in there then. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll keep that. Diffuse is black. All right, that works. Let's see. That works. Bump, opacity. I wonder what options I have for opacity on this. I wonder if I can do like a... I don't really have a texture map applied to it though, so I don't know that I would be able to get the effect on it that I want. Yeah, it's just poly paint. I do want to go through possibly at some point and do actual maps so that I can do nicer renders inside of, Arnold or something like that. But yeah. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to... I want to get the material for this. Oh, did I already get rid of it? Yeah, looks like I got rid of it. Okay. I wanted to get rid of the this material's weird texture that I had applied to it. It wasn't working, I think, for me. So I went ahead and just brought it back to being the Paris Passion Cream. Yeah, so polypaint is a per vertex color. Um, and the way that it works, let's go back to that fire main stuff here, and let's take the settings back to where we had it. The way that it works is, I wonder if I were to find somewhere it's kind of like in between. Is that, yeah, just like you were saying there, Sean, is that it'll go through and it'll say, so if this point is yellow and this point is red, then in the middle it's going to blend toward the, each point toward the next point. So you're going to get like an orange in the middle. Same with like, black and white, you're going to get some gradation of gray between them. So so the higher resolution your mesh is, the smoother your color is going to be, and the more control you have over where your texture is. You can get more patterns, more variation, things like that. Whereas if you have a very simple mesh with, like a simple like 8-point cube, then you're going, if you had a color on each of those points, you're going to get a gradient between the different points. So it's a pretty simple little thing, little principle, but it works. It works well. For those teeth, I might go and change them. They have this cool plastic material that they've introduced lately with the latest versions of Keyshot. Sean, yes, you can. Hey, Steven. Good to see you, Quentin. Yes, you can bake your poly paint to a retop out mesh for properly unwrapped UVs, and that's what I'll do a lot of the times. Is that usually actually what I'll do is I will I'll be working on. Let's close that. I don't need that open. In fact, here's an example. I have my Storm character, and her face. Everything's built out in topology, but her face actually has. Let's go ahead and let's hit clone, and then we'll say here. Let's hit actual. Let's go to UV master. Oh, maybe it doesn't have the it does have UVs though, right? Texture map. Yeah, it has my texture. That's really weird. I wonder why it's not letting me. Dynamic. It's probably not letting me flatten it because it has. Here, let's go ahead and say delete lower, and then we'll go ahead and we'll try it. Nope, it's not letting me. Say work on a clone. There we go. Flatten. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll come through and I'll go ahead usually and work on my model, having clean topology and everything, and then I'll get to a point where it's like I'm where I'm done, where I feel like I can go ahead and use the textures, whatever I've painted into it, and then I'll go ahead and I'll go up to my model. I'll go ahead and I'll say work on clone, and then I'll actually export that from ZBrush. Turn off group, and then come up and hit export it as an OBJ, and then take it into Maya, do clean controlled UVs there, and then bring it back into, just hit import in ZBrush, and then I can go ahead and use the Z plugin, copy UVs, go back to my model, paste UVs, and then essentially turn upres up-res my model however much I need to. Finish my poly paint, touch it up, whatever I need to do. Then I go down to texture map, create new from poly paint, and then I can export that into Photoshop and fix it up, whatever I need to do. So it's really, really nice. I can do the same thing for getting displacement maps, normal maps, things like that. In fact, I did that on this particular model. Let's go ahead and kind of up-res her. It's like I've got my high-res model, and I was able to bake out the details from ZBrush. Able to use displacement maps, able to use color maps, and and be able to take this stuff over into Maya for an actual final render. Yeah, it's a really great process. It's a really great simple flow. I'm going to be creating an actual tutorial series about it. How to do it with that, or how to do it with Blender. I'm going to try to figure that out in Blender, so that way anybody who doesn't have access to Maya can then go ahead and get the access they need through Blender for doing clean UVs that way. So yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead over to this plastic cloudy orange. Let's call it teeth. That way it's easy to keep track of. Transparency distance. Oh, come here. Let's get rid of that. I want the light to kind of go in and filter into the teeth more. I think that would help to kind of, I don't know, make it feel more fun. But yeah. Yeah, Sean. So I do use ZBrush as much as I can. It doesn't always work as it doesn't always work perfectly, and so what I want to do is be able to take the textures that I make inside of ZBrush, bring those in as base textures inside of Substance Painter, and be able to use that to be able to generate things like my roughness maps. I need to be able to pull out specular maps, metalness, things like that. A lot of those things I can make manually inside of Photoshop, and I'll include that sort of stuff inside of my tutorials series that I'll make for that. I'll probably be making that over the next couple of weeks and turning it out for August. but yeah, I mean that's kind of the idea of it. Well, let's hit save. Keyshot's being kind and reminding me to save. Yeah, so Quentin, essentially what I'll be doing for my tutorial series is learning the UV workflow specifically for the series, just to show that that it can be done. Yeah, let's put that to 0, 1. Play around with the look of this, but yeah, that's kind of the idea of it, is essentially just to learn the principle enough to be able to showcase it, to be able to show the process. Blender has been kind of a struggle. It's kind of an interesting software to learn. I mean, there are so many people that swear by it, and it has its virtues. The first of which is that it's free. So, it's nice from that standpoint, but it's definitely kind of a tricky software to learn if you're used to Maya. I wonder if I were to try to apply. Yeah, free. It's free. Yeah, it is super different. Everything's different about it from the UI. Uh, Obviously, the keyboard shortcuts are all different. The navigation is different. Um, it's um, gosh. Um, what was the other big thing that I was like? Oh, a lot of the naming sort of things. The way that you would refer to different tools and processes. Uh, but yeah, prefer to do all my UVs manually in Maya. Hate plugins for unwrapping. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I keep hassling Pixelogic to turn out their UV peel tool. It's one that I've been waiting for years since they first announced it, and oh, but they told me the other day that they haven't had any development on it. So hopefully that changes at some point. It's kind of sad. Let me see. Let's go back to this. Um, let's put this cloudiness up to put up to 1. See what that does. Okay, so it looks like 1 is full cloudiness. Hey, thanks, Ted. Welcome. Put it in somewhere between the 0.5 and the full 1. So let's go to 0.75. Okay, the roughness is down really low, but I'm not getting quite the spec that I was hoping for. So we'll have to see if we can figure that out. And right now, just so that you guys can understand kind of what it is that I'm tweaking, I'm tweaking the teeth. For anybody who's wondering. Yeah, I mean, I do have a tutorial about doing UV unwraps inside of ZBrush, um, but it's definitely not as clean. It's not as controlled as doing it elsewhere. And those are the two main reasons why I do it inside of Maya, is because it's clean and it's controlled, and it uses tools that I used also when I was at DreamWorks that were really, really helpful. So Rhizome, what's Rhizome, Niffer? I haven't heard of that one. Is that a UV unwrap tool specifically, or is that a new 3D application? Let's see. Let's take this. I'm going to try changing the refractive index. Let's go ahead and we'll check it out real quick so we can see it. Rhizome Lab, is this it? The unwrap panel. Great art requires great UVs. The stack splitter script. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's really good. Cool downloads, or yeah, they got like the download. They've got the learning different resources. Yeah, I might have to look into that some more later. I was using Pablo Munoz's clay brushes earlier, so that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's funny. I had a time where I tried using what's it called? I tried using oh my goodness. I can't remember what it's called. um UVs don't take a terrible amount of time. I mean, it's just a matter of understanding the different tools that are available inside of the program. um, but 3D coat, that's the one that I had tried using, and it worked pretty well. I had a friend that swore by it. I had a project that I was working on with Shane Olson. Um, it's what they had used at Avalanche before I got there. um, um, so yeah, so that was always kind of interesting. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to change this refractive index. Let's change it to 2. It was at 1.5, and that was too low. It was letting too much of the light through. Then I turned it up to 3, and it wasn't letting enough of the light through. Let's change this to like 0.2, just for the sake of seeing kind of what it is that it would look like. .05. I don't know, right now it's just totally playing. Yeah, I think one of the tools that one of my students actually taught me about. It's kind of a newer tool. um, it's the what's it called? The UV cut and sew tool, the 3D cut and sew tool in Maya, and it's super helpful. Yeah, it's a great way to be able to just interactively create your seams on your mesh directly. And then it respects seams as well. But yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you find a workflow that works for you, by all means. I do find those sorts of let's turn this up a little bit. I do find those sorts of it doesn't look like it's affecting my thing at all. Oh, that's why. Okay. 5. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. And workflow is going to vary from person to person for sure. I was like, why isn't this working? Yeah, maybe adding a little bit more of like a rim light could be a cool sort of look thing. A look thing. Kind of want to make it pop against the background. Um, yeah. Oh my gosh. Forget trying to hide your seams. It's like, I mean, it's like one way that I used to try to go about it is that like I would try using the paint tool inside of Maya just to be able to get my texture blocked out so I knew where my seams were, so all that stuff. And it's, oh my gosh, so terrible, so miserable. Let's see, duplicate that bad boy. I'm assuming that 3 is the one that I'm looking for now. Okay, that's too much in front. One of the things that I'm having kind of a struggle with this is part of why I don't particularly like to use KeyShot most of the time, is because it's, yeah, it's like a really really kind of a quick solution for rendering. Um, However, it doesn't get me. Um, yeah, I agree, Sean. Definitely kind of irritating to notice seams. Um, because everything is so procedural and everything is so easy to take care of, and there's the triplanar projection that at least gets you close, and then you can go through and you can paint over the seams, and the textures kind of take care of themselves and everything. It's yeah. No, I get it. I get it. Let's see. Let's take this one down. Actually, let's take it down to 2.5. Take it down to half. Usually, I'll kind of do that sort of thing where it's like I'll if it's too much, I'll try cutting it in half. If that's not enough, I'll try putting it somewhere in the middle, and I'll kind of like bounce back and forth by half. Um, yeah, so that's kind of working for me. I'm liking that. These teeth still don't feel like teeth. So I think what I'm going to want to do is try taking. I might even need to just change the material. I think the material might be the issue. So let's try going up here. Let's check my downloads. What was the one that I had just brought in? Let's try the Flaming Hot just for the sake of seeing if it's any good. It doesn't seem like it does anything. I think the reason why is because I think it's trying to pull specific textures that I don't have on my machine. So, whatever. Yeah, I definitely need more definition in the teeth. I think the teeth feel too soft. They feel too. Yeah, they feel too. So here's what I'm gonna do. Let's go ahead and let's save this. Let's just go work on the teeth and kind of add some shape definition and stuff to it. Too blocky. Well, I think I want to go through and kind of make it feel kind of gnarly. Like, yeah, it's like, let me see. Top ones aren't so bad. Okay. Let's go through. Let's try running a little bit of clay polish. It doesn't work. That didn't quite do what I wanted. So let's try. I'm definitely going to need to add some resolution to this. Let's do that. Let's add another couple of resolution layers to it. And then we'll kind of take some chunks out of this, make it feel a little bit more faceted, but in a controlled sort of way. Since it's a little wooden horse. And let's go through and do something like that. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, Sean. Because I think this will definitely help to bring in more of the look that I'm hoping to get. If I can keep it all in the center of my view here. Let's get my slash brush. Bring that intensity down pretty low. Yeah, pretty not as low. Okay. Let's give it some ridges along here. Let's go ahead and do a kind of an opposite bit in there. And let's undo that. Maybe let's go up on this side. Let's do a ridge kind of right along there, and that'll kind of help break up that surface a little bit. Do one kind of right along that ridge. Oh. Yeah, there's some asymmetry, but yeah, I think let's add some more. Let's get that slash brush back. Oops. Yeah, I don't know that I particularly like how. Let's do something like that. It can be hard sometimes to keep track of which direction I'm stroking in order to make sure that it let's do it the opposite direction. I think that's kind of working. Okay, let's do the same thing to the top teeth. This should help to break up the silhouette, but it should also help to capture the light in a little bit different of a way. Yeah, let's kind of go through and kind of pull some of these chips in here. Play with the actual planar shapes here some. Oh, that's a little bit too much. We'll let some happy accidents go, but that was a little bit much. It's like one of the tricky things about doing things with brushes that don't have the topological feature turned on is that then you have to worry about the neighboring meshes. which is fine. It works. Yeah, yeah, asymmetry is definitely the way to go when you're creating something. I totally agree with you, Sean. Oops, I like that look in there. And this is a section of the tooth that we'll never actually see. We will probably see some of this though. Let's kind of use that natural ridge there that we created. Okay, sometimes going in different directions is good too. Let's kind of do something like that, something like that. Opposite direction. There we go. Let's go the opposite direction on this one. Let's go up. That's a little bit too much there. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, realism is definitely not realism. Even stylized characters are often more appealing if they have that element of asymmetry. In fact, one of my characters, one of my students, this term at Noman, has this really cool series of characters that he chose um, for his projects for the term, and it's super neat to see kind of the amount of opportunity that he has for asymmetry. He'll knock it out of the park. He's already doing just stellar work, and we're only a couple weeks in. But yeah. Yeah, let's do something like that. Let's go ahead and save it. Of course, we got to replace it. Let's see. It's hit BPR, and this should update it inside a key shot without having to do anything extra. Oh no! Oh, well, it's okay. Our camera should still be. Oh no! Dang it! Dang it! Dang it! Dang it! It got rid of my. It got rid of my other flame. But it looks like it modified the teeth just fine, which is great. Okay, we'll just do this flame again real quick. In fact, instead of doing it here, let's come back over here to ZBrush. Oh, and let's make sure. Let's go to camera. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to lose my camera, so I'm just going to go back to free camera. Okay, let's go back to ZBrush, and I'm going to take this flame and we're going to title this Flame Main, like the main one, not the. Oh, it's good to see you, Sean. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Gotta go do adult stuff now. See you around. Okay, so not like mane like the mane of a horse, but main as in the main one, the principal one. Control Shift D, and we're gonna call this Flame Outer. I think that makes sense. Then I just want to take this and hit inflate. Not that much, not that much, not that much. Just enough that it's on the outside of, yeah, like a value of 5. That seems like that'll probably work for me. Okay, so now that we got this, now let's take it back over into Keyshot. It's funny, Quentin, because you have the later at Sean in 3D, but it's like the way that the underscores read to me in my mind when I looked at that. I thought they were ellipses. I thought they were periods. So I thought it was like later Sean, pause, in, pause, 3D. You know. Okay, let's save this so that we know that we're not going to be losing this anytime soon. Cool. Okay, so now we've got this new piece in there, and yeah, so now we can go through and we can turn that into. Let's go to camera 2. Sweet. Okay, now let's go ahead and add that plastic. Scroll down, plastic. Okay, let's hide. Okay, so I know that that's working now, which means that I need to go ahead and re-add an emissive to this one. Okay, so let's go back in light up to the top. I'm gonna grab this. Let's grab this warm one. Grab it, hold Alt, drag it onto the object. Flame matte. Alright, let's see. So now we gotta go ahead and I think I just added 3 zeros there to the intensity, and there we go. Okay, so now I don't want this to be visible in the camera, but I do want to take the other flame, turn that on. Yes! That's what we're talking about. Okay. So, now let's go ahead and let's play with that plastic material. Okay, flame outer. I want to take the specular and let's actually give it a little bit more of like a yellow orange, kind of like what we did earlier. And let's give it some roughness. Say 0.2 or something like that. Because it doesn't really need to have a highlight, but if I want it to have, if it has a highlight, I want it to in fact, I think I want to go through and make sure that this is actually a little bit. This is a little bit. It's a little bit of a pain, but let's do this. I am going to take flame main, and I am going to essentially just cut off the say trim. Trim off part of it. And what I'm hoping to be able to get is that like fire, like big flames, have like this really interesting let's kind of smooth this out a little bit. They have this really interesting, how do I put it, like fade toward the bottom. So let's do this. We'll come in, we'll say, let's hide the mask. Let's pull in our whatchamadiggit. But yeah, they have like this fade at the bottom where it's like it fades to kind of a transparent sort of look. I'm getting like a buttload of emails right now from just Keyshot. It's like, what in the world? I'm gonna close down some windows, I think. Got a few too many things open. Cool. Okay, let's go ahead and just smooth this out some so that it's not quite as. Okay, turn on transparency. Okay, so it's not nearly as far up as I'd like. So I'm just going to come in here. Let's get rid of that bottom section of it as well. Whoa, that really filled it out. The trim curve, it's a really tricky one to use because if you don't do it just right, yeah, maybe it's just the way that that's gonna end up. So what I need to do is I need to just kind of, come on. Just need to grab this, just kind of pull it up. But yeah, fire has this little bit of like a fade to black sort of thing. So I'm going to try to emulate that a little bit. By leaving a little bit of a gap at the bottom of the flame. Come on. Okay. And I might need to actually come in here and just say deformation. Oh, make sure that it's not masked. Just try polishing it out some. Yeah, I really want to try to just get it so that so that the flame feels very, very fluid. I want it to feel very, intentional. So I'm trying to give it a little bit of a controlled barrier distance between where the emissive part is and where the part that's actually catching the light is. It's kind of a tricky thing to kind of go through and experiment with different things like this, but it's cool too, because if this works, I have another project that I want to be able to use this sort of technique on, and so let's come in here, just kind of like clay brush that up a little bit. Okay, let's give that a shot, see how it works. It's probably good enough, so let's let's do this. Make sure that we're on the right camera, because I don't want it to ruin my camera. Oh, pardon me. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's hit the BPR button, take it back over. I'm definitely seeing a major difference in the way that the flame looks. I'm not sure that I like it. Okay, let's do this. Let's take that piece, just move it up. It doesn't necessarily have to be the exact same shape. In fact, it's probably better that it isn't. But yeah, essentially the way this is working is that this is kind of casting light onto the onto the transparent piece. Okay, good. Yeah, it's working a little bit better. And it's not quite the way that I was hoping for, but Flame outer. Just throw that away, because I don't think that's helpful to me in my process. The diffuse is set to black, which is cool. Let's go ahead and say interesting. Okay, specular. I wonder if I were to change this to I think I definitely want it to be something more saturated and darker. Maybe more red. That'll help to kind of bring in some of the red colors that we're wanting. Okay. I'm still not sold on that on the teeth material. I don't know. Maybe I'll use something like a porcelain. Might be the best way to best way to go on this. I had downloaded this porcelain material earlier as ceramic, so I just kind of want to try that out, see what that looks like. If I like that, then we'll go ahead and we'll use that, and we'll run our end render. Trying to decide if I like that or not. You can tell whenever your materials in KeyShot have these sorts of icons, you can tell that whoever made those icons definitely went super yeah, super into developing this so that it works really well. Yeah, I think we'll call that good. Let's hit render. We are going to take this over into our no spare time folder. Select, and then I want to change it. I have a naming convention set so that it starts with 1. I hate it when it starts with whatever's whatever it is set to in on the system. It's just kind of random. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with a pretty decent size render here. Let's even go a step above that. Okay. Let's go over to options. Oh, the other thing that I want to do. Here, let's change this to 2048. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and we'll close this. What I want to do is I want to make sure that this is rendering at a nice, that it looks nice. So I'm going to change my lighting preset to product. Sometimes I'll come down here and set it to jewelry, but jewelry takes forever. It doesn't look like it's taking too bad, actually. So maybe we'll keep that jewelry then. Yeah, we'll do that. I want to make sure that my camera has the depth of field. It looks like it is set, so we'll hit save. Okay. Let's do this. Render this bad boy. Output. Make sure everything looks good. Everything looks good. Alright, let's do this. Render. So now what's nice is that it pops up with this window to be able to show you the progress. It takes forever, but once you're done, you end up with a decent looking image. Oh, look at that. Nice and big too. Yeah, that eye is definitely not what I want. So that'll be something I'll have to do like some paint over for. Not a big deal. It's kind of how it works. And then I'll probably use Photoshop to be able to kind of paint in use some photo overlays to get some charred wood sort of look coming in along these edges over here, and probably along over here as well. It's like fireworks. That's something my dad always did with us when we were kids. Whenever there was fireworks, that was our response. That was what we had to do. Is ooh, and the next one goes off. You know, it's funny. Okay, so one of the things I'm seeing, something I'm very curious about, is I'm seeing like these really, really hot spots right here, right behind the ear, and right in front of the where the mane touches the wood, and that's really kind of weird to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and say stop. I'm gonna say stop and save, just so that it's so that I have the image there. Okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and close this. We are going to. I think what the issue is. I think what the issue is that the flame is like the part that is emitting is outside of the flame in those areas. It's outside of the the other spot there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this. I'm going to use Sculptress Pro mode. I'm just going to kind of delete some of this. Let's turn our Z intensity way up. Let's make our brush bigger so we can go quickly. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of some of this too. Let's just kind of pull this in so that it's okay. Let's go ahead and hit save on this again. Cha-ching! No, definitely not from the rim light on this instance. It's because that piece is on the outside. Is like, watch now as we go ahead and take it back over into key shot. We should see those hot spots disappear, or at least be less. if they're not gone, yeah. So now you can see it's definitely been fixed. But now I have a lot less of that glow to that front bit here. I'm gonna have to add in an extra little bit there, because that's not enough glow right there. I am still getting some back here behind the ear, so I'll have to fix that too. But let's see if we can figure that out. Yeah, there we go. There's that little bit right there that's kind of sticking out, so we'll pull that in. and we'll use our IMM primitives brush, which was the brush download for Patreon this month. So if you're part of the Patreon, oops, not the ring. I want this one. Yeah, make sure that you jump on and grab that brush. This is literally one of my most useful brushes. Let's use snake hook and just kind of pull this down and in a little bit. Okay, just kind of pull this over some. So got to kind of try to keep an eye on areas like this where it's poking through. That might be a little bit too long, so we'll just, just for the sake of making sure that I have light going down into those areas of the flame, that's what we'll do. We'll have it like that. Control save. Replace that. And then actually, I think I want to get rid of this eye glow piece. It's not helpful to me. It's not serving a good purpose. And I don't want to have to paint over it in Photoshop in that way. Yeah, let's go back to this scene. Let's turn off this flame outer piece. Yeah, so you see it, because I've gone through and added a piece in there, it's it doesn't have that material applied to it. So let's let's go over to our materials. Let's try this. Maya. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ah. Yeah, it's not going to work. So I might just have to go ahead and reapply a new piece, which I guess is not bad. I mean, there could be worse things, right? A new material. Let's go back to light. Interesting. So it looks like it's just making me go through and apply this as its own thing. So let's go ahead. We'll do that, and then turn off visible to camera, and then we'll turn on our other piece. Et voila. That's why I am the smartest. Indeed. Okay, let's go back to camera 1. There we go. There we go. Now we can go ahead and hit render. And then with the interior of the eye, I might go through and do some sort of cool like fiery swirly sort of thing in there in Photoshop, but that'll be later. and then I'll probably do some things to like paint the outside of that, or whatever. I'll do a lot of tweaking to make this really work. So yeah, let's go render. Zoom this out a little bit so you guys can see the reveal. And then yeah, I think I'll call it done after this. I've had that song stuck in my head. Yeah. Can Keyshot play animation smoothly? I've never played with animation in Keyshot except for doing turntables. But yeah, it does a really good job at like product visualization, sort of animation that I've seen. Yeah, I don't know. That's something that I'd have to look up and see how to do. My experience with Keyshot is pretty limited. It's not my favorite rendering package, but it is what I wanted to use for this because I'm hoping to be able to get something pretty good pretty quickly. Raid. What you talking about, Indy? Alright. Oh, that's nice. A large up to 3 toppings for $99. Rated with 7 people. Nice. Where from? I don't know how rating works. I'm sorry, dude. Educate me. Let me see. Well, cool. Thanks, Indy. So I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do one that's all cheese and one that's half cheese, half pepperoni sausage and mushroom or something. Huh? I thought it was 3 topping.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was
And yeah, for the other one, I'm thinking either mushrooms or tomato. What do you want?
mushrooms or tomato?
Yeah. Well, I guess you probably wouldn't eat the pepperoni sausage one, would you? Stuffed crust, veggie, garlic sauce. You're weird. No, that's all good. Artichoke is good. They don't have as an option.
Artichoke?
Yeah.
It's not
think I'll do mushrooms. Continue. It's funny because like our kids pick off all the toppings. They'll scrape off all the cheese and then they'll just eat the bread. So I end up eating all the cheese. Flagpole at noon. Oh boy. It's already 1 o'clock, so. A ver. And then hand tossed. Hut favorite. Continue to toppings. Continue to end. All right. So now we got las dos. All right. Okay, then. Jimmy smells like eggs. Dang. I don't know, Jimmy. Not personally. Poor Jimmy's getting a bad rap. Who was it? Oh, it was at DreamWorks. There was this inside joke where there was Paul from Surfacing. Now, Paul was not a real person, but he had a bad rep. But everybody loved him. But, anyway, so everybody was always, anytime anybody mentioned Paul from Surfacing, everybody would say, it'd be like, Paul, oh, good guy, God rest his soul, things like that. It was just funny. Anyway, I'll probably go ahead and just let this render off air. It's no fun watching paint dry. But, thanks to anybody for showing up and your inputs on pizza types and things like that. It was helpful. Yeah, Paul, good guy. So, thanks for tuning in, and feel free if you guys want to be able to jump on. I do have a channel on my Discord for Patreon members that can chat live if you're interested in being able to chat with voice rather than typing everything in. But yeah, so that's available. You can find Patreon over at patreon.com/smartist. The name of the channel is the way that you find it, so pretty much available pretty much anywhere. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, find me that same way. So thanks for tuning in, and thanks for coming, and thanks Indy for bringing some friends, and shout out to all the patrons. Yeah, Quentin's a patron. Got Jan, we got Prashan, we got Yvonne. Got Jose. Yeah, we got some good people over there. I'm pretty sure that's everybody for now. Yeah. So yeah, be sure, if you're interested in getting tutorials and resources and things like that, or supporting me as an artist, it's a great way to be able to jump in and find me on Patreon. Anyway, I'll see you guys around. Thanks for tuning in. I will